Hi everyone, good evening. How are you guys? I hope you all are doing good. So, how are you guys? Good evening everyone. Good evening. Okay, so let's start. Today's class is going to be really fun. Literally, I'm telling you. I have got some really amazing facts for all of you and amazing examples. The real life examples you might not be knowing. Okay. So let's start. And first, let me share the slides and then I'll ask the question. So today is the fifth class of this series, guys. And let me make the announcement before we go further. All of you, let me make this very clear to you that where's this? One second. Yeah. So let me announce this for tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow this course is going to end. I'll be covering most of the topics today. Tomorrow, see, look at this very, with the focus that what is going to happen tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow we'll start the class at sharp 7 p.m. I will take the class for 30 minutes. Some remaining topics and some remaining, facts I wanted to tell you. Okay. Otherwise, the syllabus what we tried to cover or we wanted to cover will be covered today. Okay. Remaining one or two short topics I will cover tomorrow from 7 p.m. to 7:30. And everyone focus from 7:30 sharp. From 7:30 sharp, there will be the exam. Your certificate will be given only once you are giving the exam and passing it with at least 60% marks, right? And passing it with 60% marks. I can waiver the attendances, whatever you have, attended till date or no, or not, it doesn't matter. I can waiver that. Okay. But tomorrow's exam is mandatory to get the certificate, right? So 7:30, I will be giving you the link in the class only. Remember, the link for exam will not be given in the groups. It will be given only in the class. So only people who are in the class will attempt this exam, and this exam will go from 7:30 p.m. to sharp 8 p.m. Okay, sharp 8 p.m., 30 minutes, 30 questions. MCQs. Okay, so you all have to get 18 marks out of 30. You have to do 18 correct questions. Okay, you have to get 18 correct answers, and that will be the flow tomorrow. So 7 p.m. to 7:30, I will be taking the class, some topics, small topics, and then from 7:30 to 8, I will be conducting the exam. So again, I'm repeating for the people, everyone, if you are not in the class, the link will not be shared in the groups. Okay, will not be shared in the groups at all. The people who are in the class will only attend the uh, exam. Okay, and this exam will be there for half an hour, 30 minutes, 30 questions, multiple choices, everything from the classes. Okay, clear guys? Is it clear for all of you? And then only you will be able to claim your certificate based on that. So clear? All clear guys for everyone? Any questions? I hope there is no question. No. Okay, for sure. It must be clear to all of you because I'm giving my 100% for last 5 days. Right. So tomorrow, definitely, I have the full right to assess you in whatever I taught. Okay. So yeah. Now, so today what we are going to discuss is post-marketing surveillance. Okay, post-marketing surveillance. We have discussed about drug discovery, preclinical research, clinical development, regulatory bodies, regulatory authority approvals, market launch and commercialization yesterday. We have discussed in the new formats. I always come up with the questions. I always come up with the new format of teaching. I try to, make you understand in the easy way. And so I did in today's class, post-marketing surveillance. Post-marketing surveillance. So guys, I just want to know from all of you, what do you understand before I go to the normal MCQs, normal questions? I want to understand from you, what do you understand by post-marketing surveillance? What is PMS? Yes, what is PMS? Post-marketing surveillance. What is post-marketing surveillance according to you? Is it pharmacovigilance? Pharmacovigilance? ADR reporting? PVPI? Is it this? Yes, guys. What do you understand by post-marketing surveillance? Yes, post-marketing surveillance. What is that post-marketing surveillance? Is it pharmacovigilance, ADR, PVPI? Yes, what and how much do you know about post-marketing surveillance? Okay, it is done after safety and efficacy of the drug after, okay, monitoring the long-term efficacy and safety in the larger population by employing pharmacovigilance strategies. Okay, monitoring of long-term effects and side effects of drug after launch into market, monitoring the safety efficacy of drugs after introduction to the market. Okay, it is done after the drug is launched in the market for assessing the long-term side effects. So everyone is talking about long-term side effect. Why not about immediate side effect? Why not immediate side effect? Yes, why not the immediate side effects of the drug or anything? Yeah, guys, tell me. Yes. So let me make it very clear to you right now here that in today's class, I'm not going to talk on ADRs, not at all. I'm not going to talk about PVPI, not at all. I'm not going to talk about, this international adverse event reporting center, which is in where? Which is in Uppsala, right? Which is in Uppsala, Sweden, right? I'm not going to talk about anything of that. I'm not going to talk about how to fill the adverse event, what is adverse event, how to do the adverse event reporting at all. I am not going to discuss this. Okay, I'm not going to discuss that, right? So what exactly I'm going to discuss today is post-marketing surveillance. So now my question again to all of you is, what do you understand by post-marketing surveillance and what are the things you want to do during the post-marketing surveillance? If not about ADR, PVPI, UPSLA, and reporting sites or how to report, then what else you will understand? What else you will learn in pharmaceutical product, surveillance, post-marketing surveillance? What do you will understand? Yes, promotion of the drug. Promotion of the drug. Promotion of the drug we learned yesterday, right? We learned that yesterday. Effect of the drug in larger population. Perfectly fine. Okay. See, so let me tell you, let me make it very easy for you to understand because it is a big thing. Let me tell you, it is big thing again. Okay, and you have to understand it deeply as this course says from starting. You have to dive very deep to understand every topic as we have discussed the pre-discovery, early preclinical, clinical developments, regulatory bodies, market launch, commercialization. So similarly, today we are going to discuss about post-marketing surveillance. Let's start with the question. Question number one to all of you is, question number one to all of you here is, which of the following is the primary objective of post-marketing surveillance PMS? Yes. Okay, questions are there. I mean, answers are there. Answer specific population, safety and efficacy, identifying additional drugs. Okay. Yes. What is the primary objective of post-marketing surveillance? To generate the new drugs for approval? Is it? No, because that's not the objective of post-marketing surveillance, because this is a pre-market activity. This is the pre-market activity. So we will not take it further as an answer. Okay. To monitor the safety and efficacy of a drug after it has been released to the market could be the answer. To conduct clinical trials for the new drugs, not at all, because again, this is pre-launch activity. This is pre-launch activity. To improve the manufacturing process of the drug, again, it is pre-launch activity. Manufacturing of the drug is pre-launch. I mean, this is not pre-launch exactly, but this is not post-marketing. Marketing always comes after the manufacturing. Okay. So the correct answer here for post-marketing surveillance is to monitor the efficacy of a drug after it has been released to the market, right? It has been released to the market. Correct answer is here. So now let's see what is post-marketing surveillance. What is post-marketing surveillance? So see, look at this, very important. Post-market surveillance system or PMS serves to collect, record, and actively and systematically analyze the relevant data on the quality, performance, and safety of a device or drug during the entire validity period to draw the necessary conclusions and to determine, implement, and monitor any preventive or corrective actions. So in the simple case, in the simple terms, PMS is nothing but they will collect all type of data related to safety and quality performances. Okay, safety and quality performances in the population, and they will collect it, they will determine it, and they will do some corrective actions to, make it correct or make it perfect for the users. Understand what I'm saying? This is the system. Post-marketing surveillance is nothing but surveillance of the drugs, safety and performance data. Okay, they will collect in all the forms, they will analyze it, they will make a report, and they will, find some conclusions, and they will implement those conclusions with some preventive and corrective actions for the future. So the user get the best. So the user gets the best all the time whenever they are doing. Okay, whenever they are doing. But this is not only till here. Okay, so here this is actually nothing but APCD. Actually, we call it APCD, not ABCD. First is act, then first plan. First is plan, then do, and then check, and then act. Okay, so this is actually the cycle. I will describe this in the later parts. Let's not discuss here. So post-marketing plan goes with systematic collection of information from the market. What type of information? Information on safety. That side effects, adverse events and all, right? Safety, performance. If the performance is correct, if the performance is up to the mark, or if the performance is like performance in not in the way of cost effectiveness, or performance is not in the manner of sales and marketing. Sales is different. Post marketing surveillance definitely takes care of the sales, and also they takes care of they take care of the sales part also, and how much it is reaching to the people. But in post marketing surveillance, most important thing is performance of the drug, whether it is performing as it was performing in clinical trials or preclinical trial studies. Understand that if the drug is performing well in the population, in indication, in the disease, in the particular condition, okay, and how it is performing in other diseases, other conditions, and different races, different populations, different age groups, they require all type of data. Quality of the product, in case quality of the product and safety of the product in aspect of side effects, adverse event, failures, multiple things are there. Okay, you will understand not only one thing. If I'm just talking about safety, then there is multiple things, side effects, adverse events, right? And then failures, right? Failures, and for other indications, synergic effects. Okay, synergic effects. So multiple type of safety parameters we have to observe when the drug is in the market, right? And the next part is performance. So performance is not only about the, what we say about the performance is not just only about the sales, but it is about the performance of the drug in different populations, in different age groups, in different races, in different geographical conditions, in different underlying conditions, in different, comorbidities. There are a lot of things to understand. So what they do is the teams and the companies collect the data from the market. Okay, collect the data from the market, and then they prepare two types of report. Okay, they prepare the two types of report. One is PSUR, one is PMS report. Okay, one is PMS report, one is PSUR. PMS is nothing but post marketing surveillance report. Okay, post marketing surveillance report. And PSUR is periodic safety update report. Okay, let me write here: periodic safety update report. Update report. Okay, so how it is, this is the overall picture I'm telling you. Okay, so I mean, classes I'll come later. Classes you don't have to learn, because classes are here. These classes are indicating devices, not the drugs. Okay, classes are indicating devices. These are the device classes, not the drugs classes. So I'm not touching these here. Okay, I'm not touching the classes here. And these are not only again the classes, but these are related to the risks associated with the devices. Risks associated with devices. So we usually classify the devices into these classes according to the risk. So based on the risk only, we create the reports. Okay, similarly for the drugs also, similarly for the devices also. Okay, so you have to understand, once they collect the data and they see like what type of risk is involved, is if the risk is mild, with no harm to the user, then they just submit the PMS report. If the risk is associated with any kind of harm, okay, any kind of harm or any kind of effect that can change in the person's or the user's mental or physical health, okay, if it can change the people's or the user's mental or physical health, we have to report the PSURs. Okay, now what exactly is the difference between PMS report and PSURs? Okay, so PMS report is a simple post-marketing surveillance report. Post-marketing surveillance means they just collect it, they just create the PMS report based on the observational studies, based on the data reported, based on the there are multiple types of approaches that I'm telling. I'll tell you in the next slides. Okay, so different approaches, multiple approaches accordingly. Like they do some observational studies, they collect the data from the market, they collect the data from the users directly, they collect the data from the company portals, from the PVPI if it in India, then otherwise if Europe, then EU reporting system or FDA reporting system, or they directly take the data from UPSLA, or UPSLA releases the reports, right? So based on that, if the risk is just mild with no harm, class 1, then just create a general PMS report. PMS report is general. General here is like common PMS report with no major harms to the users, and it can be updated if necessary, within the periods of like 1 year every year, or 2 years every 2 years. It must be updated for the with the current or updated data. Okay, and then the PSUR goes with class 2A, 2B, and 3. Okay, and other kind of implants. So what is that? Here the risk of harm is larger, and risk of harm is moderate to severe, right? So in that case, it is harming the people, it is harming those users. So what is there? I mean, again, they will collect the data based on the observational studies, randomized control trials, comparative trials, community trials, and they will do such studies like registries. They will do certain, and then they will take the directly from the users. Okay, from the users means from the physicians, from the the patients parties. They collect all the data, they take the data from the pharmacovigilance surveillance systems, and then based on the risk, they update the risk class, and they update these kind of reports, and they submit PSUR at every, I mean, there are the systems, there are the gaps, there are the timelines to submit and update the PSURs. Okay, like this is quite frequent than PMS, and this is quite comprehensive, and it is directly related to the risk and harm to the user, and that can be updated, and that actually helps in deciding the actions. The PSUR actually helps in deciding the actions which has to be taken. Like suppose one device has been launched to the market and it is showing some more than 3% of the side effects or more than 5% of the side effects. So when the PSUR is submitted to the company or by the company to the regulators will decide if this device should be continued in the market, of this drug is continued, should be continued in the market or not. Right. So these are the decisive reports. PSURs are periodic safety update report. Right. These are the decisive reports, and the decisions are made based on the PSURs, and PMS is also, again, they are helping in the decision making, but these are more safer and generalized reports. Okay, these are more safer and generalized report. And now the next question from your side must be, like, to whom these are being submitted. So these certificate, I mean, these reports are collected and prepared. These reports are prepared by the manufacturer or marketer. Okay, I mean, they can hire the third parties, but main stakeholder here is manufacturer or marketer. Okay, they collect all the data, they create the reports, and they submit these reports to, then they submit these reports to regulatory affairs, regulatory bodies. Okay, they submit these reports to regulatory bodies, and regulatory bodies keep these reports open for everyone after review. These reports are open for everyone in the domains. Okay, because these are showing the updates on the data, updates on the drug or devices which has been launched. Okay, understand guys, it is clear. And if there are the risks and benefits, then corrective measures has been taken by the companies, either to continue the drug or device, or to withdraw the drug or device from the company, I mean from the market. Right, so this is here. Is it clear? In CT, monitoring is done in the control settings, where in the post-marketing real world scenarios where drugs are taken, okay, other medications, foods and all. Yeah, definitely. That I told her. I mean, this is when you are, looking for the performance and safety. So can you please repeat PSUR? Surely. So as I told you, PMS reports are general reports, okay, common reports, and being updated not in the frequent timelines, like it been as a general reports, given every year based on the data, or every 2 years, companies preparing and submitting to the regulatory bodies. Okay, here why these PMS reports? Because the risk is mild. Okay, the data from the market is coming, like that drug is doing perfectly fine in manner of safety and performance. In manner of safety and performance, drug is doing perfectly fine in the market, and there is no corrective measures required. There is no corrective measures required. That's why we are submitting the general report, and that report will be read or reviewed by the regulatory bodies, and drug will be continued. Okay, and PSUR is nothing but the one of the part of PMS report, or extension report of PMS, we can say. It is PSUR, P for periodic. Okay, periodic safety update reports. Periodic safety update reports. So periodic safety update reports are completely created or prepared based on the pharmacovigilance system. Pharmacovigilance system, and there they just check the safety, and based on safety, like, because here these PSURs are created for class 2, class 2B, class 3. I mean moderate to high risk, moderate to high risk observations. Okay, moderate to high risk observations. So when they get the data from the studies, from the literature search, from the real market, from the users, they collect the data from all the stakeholders, and they prepare the reports. And based on the based on the reports, the regulatory bodies, they decide if the drug or device should be continued to the market or to the people or not. Because And if there are moderate or something that can be corrected, there they take the corrective actions. Okay, like coming up with the new lots, coming up with the new batches of the drugs, with the improvement in the efficacy or improvement in the or like have you seen that? Have you seen, you all use mobiles, right? You all are very tech savvy right now, so use mobiles, right? And you must be seeing if you are using the Android or Apple iPhones and all. So you must be seeing every month there are some updates, right? I'll give you this example. There are some updates in the application, in the operating system, right? In the application operating system, there are always some updates. And what are these updates? These updates are not, they're not changing the software. They're not changing the software. They are just updating it. They're just updating it for the better use, better use with better performance, right? Better performance, right? With the better use and better performance. And like sometimes you will see that every time they come up with the bug fixing, isn't it? Bug fixing in the mobile applications. So similarly, this is the similar process of PSURs, and how they get the bug fixing, how they get these type, how, why, I mean, how they understand that they have to fix this bug, or they have to fix this problem, because they get the problems from the users, right? They get the problems from the users and from their technical team, from their manufacturing team. I mean, they get the problems from the market. I mean, different stakeholders in the market, right? Similarly, in the drugs also, when drug is in the market, they get the surveillance done with different manners, and then they get the data, they analyze the data, and based on the data, they prepare the PSUR, like periodic safety update report, and they update according to the risk classes. I mean, whatever they create the, I mean, based on that, they take the corrective measures, or corrective actions. They improve the drugs efficacy and safety. Okay, it happens in the drug safety efficacy, and then they release again after 6 months or after 1 year, they will release again PSUR based on the data. So this is periodic safety update reports, and updates are going on based on the reports which are given or taken from the market. Understand? Clear? Yeah. So now question number 2 for all of you is, what is the first step in post-marketing surveillance procedure? Yes, guys. Yes. What is the first step in post-marketing surveillance procedure? Conducting a benefit risk ratio, collecting and monitoring the adverse event reports, reporting to the regulatory bodies, or conducting the post-market clinical trials? Yes, guys. B, A, B. This question will teach you a lot of things. B, collecting and monitoring adverse event reports. Okay. A, conducting a benefit risk analysis. Okay. But the question is first step in PMS procedure. All are the steps. All are the steps. But which one is first step? D. Okay. So all are confused here. All are confused here. Let me clear it. Let me clear it so you will understand. This is very important. I just told you, but not in descriptive way. So see, look at these, all the options. Post-marketing surveillance. When the post-marketing surveillance is done, it starts immediate after launch. After launch in larger population. Focus, attention, larger, population, right? Larger population. Here, you have to be very much understanding of that clinical trials from all the phases 0 to 3 have been done, right? Have been done. Now, the first thing is to observe the side effects or the safety profile of the drug in larger population. Larger population. So the correct answer is collecting and monitoring the adverse event reports. First thing is that. Why? See, you can be correct conducting the post-market clinical trial, but conducting the post-market clinical trial also comes after the first report. Okay, when the report says, or when the adverse event says that, okay, there are some adverse events, there are some inferior results, there are some failures, then people means the institutions, the researchers, the doctors, the pharmacists, the students, they think of the clinical trials or the observational studies. Based on the first report, or when the drug comes to the market, they start the post-marketing studies, whether those are observational studies, whether those are clinical trials, whatever is there. Okay. The three is asking how long class will be, sir. Are you just started? It's just half an hour I've started. No, I'm not sure. It will go up to 8:30 at least. Okay. Yeah. So this should not be a question right now. Okay. So yeah. So conducting post-market clinical trial is important to understand the efficacy and the potency of the drug against multiple other drugs. Okay. Or conducting the observational clinical trials or observational studies. Sorry, not clinical trials. Observationals are not clinical trials. I mean observational studies to understand the real impact of the drug in the market. Okay. They have to do these things, but the first thing is to check the real time adverse events and real time impact in the larger people, because everything has already been done in the clinical trials, right? This can be done parallelly, but the first thing is this. First step is collecting and monitoring the adverse event reports, and parallelly they can start conducting the post market clinical trials, observational studies. Institutions usually do that, right? And then then after that they will work on the risk benefit analysis based on these reports, based on the literature. Based on the literature and studies done, they will go for benefit risk analysis. And if there is any harm, or if they need any corrective measures, I mean, they have to submit to regulatory authorities. These results must be submitted to the regulatory authorities, and then only they will, tell you to do the corrective measures. Okay, so the first step here is collecting, and this you can tell second number, this you can tell three, you can tell four. So the first step is collecting and monitoring the adverse events, right? Answer is collecting and monitoring the adverse event. So look at this. This slide also tells you the entire PMS procedure. Okay, this is the entire PMS procedure, and you will see what exactly we have to do and how we have to do. Okay, so procedure flow is first step is collecting the data. Okay, what to collect and why to collect. This is what, right? This is what means inputs, what we have to collect, and why we have to collect means what type of outputs or results we are expecting. Understand, this is the entire entire the flow chart or procedure for PMS. Okay, inputs means what type of things we need, and at the first step or second step or third step or fourth step, and what kind of outputs we are expecting. So first step is collecting the data. Collecting the data means what? List of PMS data sources to monitor. List of PMS data sources to monitor. What could be the PMS? What is PMS? Post-marketing surveillance. So post-marketing surveillance data can be observed from where? Guys, tell me. List of PMS data sources to monitor. Where you will monitor the PMS data. Where you will monitor the PMS data. Post-marketing surveillance data, being a company or being the authority, how you will get the data for PMS. If you want to make a PMS report, how you will collect the data? Tell me, guys. Yes. Yes, guys, tell me. ADR reports from where? By collecting from the hospitals, ADR reporting centers. Yes. Apps, hospitals. Okay. Case reports, PVPI, hospitals. Anything else? DUR studies? Okay. Okay, let me tell you. Data resources will be direct reporting, direct reporting by user. That could be doctor or the patient. Direct reporting can be done by the doctors or the patient or patient parties in form of case reports, observational studies, or if the patient is reporting, then side effect or the adverse event reporting, right? And how they will do it? How they will do it? They will do it through, they can do it through the journal, they can do it through the PVPI portal or the regulatory authority bodies portal, or they can keep it on the social media. They can report to the drug information center. They can report it to the hospital. I mean, there are multiple sources. Okay, so that is their direct reporting, and then there is social media. I'm telling you, social media has very much impact. LinkedIn is there, Facebook is there, all these things are there, and publications are there, right? And studies, scientific studies could be observational studies like case control studies, cross-sectional studies, case reports, case series, and then interventional clinical trials or other type of community trials, large clinical trials. All has to be done to collect the data and to get the data from the public, right? Or from these things. So there are multiple sources to monitor. There are multiple sources to monitor, and then they have to refine which data to include and which data to exclude from the report. Okay, from the post marketing surveillance, which data should be included, which data should be excluded. Like including should be all kind of allergies, all kind of side effects, all kind of you know uh, negative impacts, all kind of mild to severe risks and all. So risk mitigation, risk assessment, risk everything they will do about the risk and all. But if there is something which is like at the positive side, or which is not relevant to the to the drug or devices which has been launched, that will be excluded, right? And then there is something called PMCF or PF plan. Okay, PMCF and PMPF plans. So PMCF is nothing and PMPF is also nothing, but one is clinical, one is performance. Okay, clinical and performance. What is clinical and what is performance? Let me tell you here. Okay, let me tell you here that can be done later. Yeah, so that can be done later. Now let's talk about the PMS major outputs, PMS plan outputs. So PMS plan output, this is called PMS plan. Okay, this is called PMS plan. There are multiple things at multiple steps. Again, I'll tell you. So let's understand this in that slide. Let's correlate. So how they will do it? First, they will, for the PMS plan, they will give the training to the users about the product. Okay, users could be doctors, users could be the people, and users could be the patients, users could be the patient's attendant. I mean, anyone. They will give the trainings at larger scale. They will tell them larger scale trainings means what? Training is not that a company is giving the training. There are the channels. Like, the first company will, keep some awareness programs. Company will tell the doctors, company will inform the doctors, company will conduct the meetings, seminars, webinars, and everything. Right? And doctors will counsel, pharmacists will counsel, nurses will counsel the patient and patient parties, and they will follow that. So first is user training or product. And then the next thing come is PRMR. Next thing come is RMR. Okay, so based on that, now the user is reporting and the company's teams are assessing the risk management report. Okay, so they are they are assessing the risk and they are planning the risk management reports, like how they can manage these risks in the people, how they can manage these risks in the users. Like suppose risks, like what are the risks? Like suppose one drug aspirin. Let me give you the example. Aspirin is aspirin is made for heart attacks, a stroke, sometimes heart attack is usual, right? Or the fever rheumatic fever, right? So there are multiple things, rheumatic valve disease, or the rheumatic heart disease. I mean, aspirin is having the indication of multiple diseases, but majorly for heart attacks or the myocardial infarction. Now, what is the risk management? If aspirin is taken alone, at the dose of 75 to 150 mg, it's fine. But if the user takes it, four-fold, 600 mg per day, they will get bleeding related side effects, right? So this is not the side effect, or this is not the, direct direct, what we say, direct effect of the, this is the side effect or adverse event, but something called, this is something called medication error. Medication error at patient's level. Okay, at patient's level, this is a medication error. So how to assess these things, how to aware the people about these things, and how they can make the people aware of this, and how they can manage this type of risk can be, attempted and can be given in the risk management report. Okay, first, after user training, they will prepare the management report, again based on the performances, based on the risks, here. RMR is just risk management. Okay, then next is PMCF. As we are talking about PMCF or PMPF, so here it is clinical follow-up. Okay, and PF is performance follow-up. This is post-market clinical follow-up, and PF is performance follow-up. Okay, performance follow-up. So what is PMCF? You have to understand that post-market clinical follow-up. Post-market clinical follow-up means how the drug is working in the humans. Okay, in different type of humans. Different type of means the different age groups, different, what we say, uh, different geographical conditions, and different underlying causes, different, so they will just discuss post marketing. They will do the post marketing clinical follow up, okay, in all the patients, in all the users, and then they will create clinical evaluation report. Based on that, they will create the report for the risks, for the benefits, in which population it is working more, in which indications it is working more, where they need to, look into the risks, where they need to look into the clinical efficacy of the drug, right? So based on the PMCF or PMPF, they create the clinical evaluation report. Okay, clinical evaluation report. Clinical, if the drug is clinically perfect, efficacious, and working perfectly fine in the market or not. Okay, they will create the CER, clinical evaluation report. And this clinical evaluation report is also, a part of PMS report. Okay, is a part of PMS report. Okay, and also a part of PSUR report. But PSUR reports are mostly focusing on the risks. Okay, risk assessment, risks mitigation. Okay, risks assessment, risks mitigation. Okay, types of risk and all. So risk assessment and risk mitigations are the major chapters, or the major factors, or major inclusions in the PSUR, periodic safety update reports. And based on that only, they take corrective and preventive actions called CAPA and FSCA, field safety corrective actions. Okay, field safety corrective action is a term for devices, and corrective and preventive actions are are for both drugs and devices. Okay, corrective and preventive actions are taken during the manufacturing and during that. So these are called for the drugs and devices. I'll explain that again. Okay, so first let's understand again once more that first they will train the users, and they will train the users, all type of users. Then those users will create the risk management report, and then once the drug is launched, they will follow up all the post market clinical events or clinical efficacy related part. And based on that, based on the clinical follow up or the performance follow up, they will create the clinical evaluation report called CER. And this CER is kind of the general, or the part of PSUR. Okay, based on the risk, based on the risk category, that will create the PMS report or PSUR report. So PSUR report, as I told you, it is a safety update reports at frequent timelines, okay. And based on the recommendations of PSUR, by regulatory bodies, we do corrective and preventive actions called CAPA. These are the very common terms in the PMS plan. Okay, corrective and preventive actions. So what is corrective and preventive actions? Suppose that a drug which is like, let me tell you one very good example. You guys will be liking it. See, how many of you know about clopidogrel and ticagrelor? Yes, guys. Clopidogrel and ticagrelor. Tell me, what is clopidogrel? What is ticagrelor? Guys, this is a question, and this is the example, perfect example here for all of you. Corrective and preventive actions. Yes. Yes, guys. Anyone? What is ticagrelor? What is clopidogrel? Given IHD patients used in MI, what are the types of the drug? Drug types, indication, you told me. Antiplatelets used in MI. Okay, anything else? Okay, let me tell you. How much do you know about the mechanism of action of clopidogrel or ticagrelor? How many of you know about the mechanism of action? Drug used to prevent the blood clot, very layman language, very layman language. Antiplatelets in MI and CBA. Okay, you guys are telling me the very much layman language. Okay, let me tell you, let me describe this to you. So I mean, we will not take much time. See, first let's talk about clopidogrel. Okay, clopidogrel. So clopidogrel is P2Y12 inhibitor. That is the type of antiplatelet drugs. Antiplatelet drugs. So the ticagrelor is P2Y12 inhibitor and antiplatelet drug. Okay, P2Y12 inhibitor and antiplatelet drug. Now, what is the difference? What is the difference in these two? See, this is a clopidogrel is the first generation drug. First generation drug. I mean, the first drug in the category P2Y12 inhibitors for MI. This is the first generation drug. Okay, and this had the larger bleeding profile. Bleeding profile. Okay, so it needs the strict monitoring. Strict monitoring. Guys, you have to understand this is a very fantastic example. Larger bleeding profile means if 75 mg of the clopidogrel is given to the patient, it should be 75 only. It should not be 150. Otherwise, it can cause the any type of bleeding, nasal bleeding, gum bleeding, or GI bleeding, any type of bleeding it can cause. Understand this example, you will understand the whole corrective and preventive actions. Okay, so they created, I mean, this is about clopidogrel, right? Because clopidogrel had the major bleeding issues. Okay, so what they did is they just changed some bonds, molecular weight, and some proteins in the structure of clopidogrel, and they came up with the new drug, prasugrel. Okay, which is second generation drug. Which is second generation drug. Okay, which is second generation drug. So prasugrel was more potent. I mean, sorry. I'm so sorry. Prasugrel was not more potent. Prasugrel was, Prasugrel. I deleted. What is happening? Yeah, Prasugrel was equally potent. Prasugrel was equally potent drug in the same category and lesser bleeding profile than clopidogrel. Okay, lesser profile than the clopidogrel. But what happened is it has the lesser bleeding profile than clopidogrel. Perfectly fine. It is equally potent like clopidogrel. Perfectly fine. But the medication interaction or the drug interaction with aspirin was very high. Because these are the dual antiplatelet therapies. We usually give COX inhibitors plus P2Y12 inhibitors like aspirin plus clopidogrel category. Okay, aspirin and one drug from the P2Y12 inhibitor. So aspirin and clopidogrel was perfectly fine, but clopidogrel has a higher bleeding risk and they have improved in prasugrel, but prasugrel is not that suitable with aspirin. It's not having the like direct interaction, but with aspirin it increases the bleeding profile. Okay, with aspirin it increases the bleeding profile. I mean, if it is given all alone along with, instead of clopidogrel, it has the good profile, good bleeding controls. Okay, but if it is given with aspirin, it has the high bleeding profile than clopidogrel. Okay, higher bleeding risk with aspirin, with because it has the drug interaction. Okay, it has the drug interaction. Okay, so see, multiple clinical trials and all said that prasugrel is better in some aspects than clopidogrel. Okay, better in some aspects than clopidogrel, but when we come up with the bleeding risk in combination, because in heart attack patients or in MI patients, we have to give it with the aspirin. So if we are giving with the aspirin, it has higher bleeding profile. Okay, so clopidogrel remains on the top after even the corrective measures taken and came up with the new drug called prasugrel. Okay, no, nothing have changed. Okay, and one more important thing about clopidogrel and prasugrel. Prasugrel. See, you know all pharmacology, right? So the drug usually go to the receptor, right? It attaches with the receptor, and it's a layman I'm telling you, and the action prevent the action. So that will suppress the disease or suppress the symptom. Okay, suppress the condition. I will say that. So I'll write the suppress the condition. This is the very general pharmacology I'm telling you. Okay, drugs attach with the receptor and inactivate the receptor. Okay, usually, and prevent the action. That's all. But now what happened is, again, look at this. Clopidogrel and prasugrels where irreversibly platelet, right? You understand that platelet is there. This is the platelet, and platelet has multiple receptors. Okay, multiple receptors, multiple P2Y12 receptors. Okay, so clopidogrel or prasugrel come to the platelet and attach. So these receptors cannot attach with another platelet and make the clot, right? So if the drug is attached to these receptors, these will not attach to the next platelet, and that will not make the clot. So clopidogrel or prasugrel usually engage all the platelets, all the active platelets, and they don't allow them to create the plaque with other platelets. That is the common action. Okay, that is the common action. But what was there? Clopidogrel and prasugrel were irreversible, irreversibly, attached to these. I mean, if the clopidogrel is once attached to these receptors, P2Y12 on the platelet, the platelet's death is the only resolution to come out of the clopidogrel. Okay, till the platelet dies, the clopidogrel or prasugrel will be attached to that, and that platelet cannot, function anymore in any activities in clot formation. So the clot formation means, look at this again, guys. You have to understand this very easy. I mean, very completely kind of thing. So clot are not always bad, right? See, if it is a heart attack, definitely clots are bad. We need to prevent the platelet aggregation. And if it is a cut clot or accidental clot, like if your hand or your finger is cut with the knife, then what you will do, you need the clotting. So the drawback of prasugrel and clopidogrel was these platelets were not active in, not active, and usually injury related bleeding was excess. Okay, and injury related what we say recovery or clot formation, or that was delayed. Okay, that was delayed because all the platelets, almost 50%, 60% platelets are, occupied with the drug in heart attack patients. So you understood what I'm saying? Now they did the corrective measures and they came up with ticagrelor. Okay, they came up with ticagrelor. Ticagrelor has reversible binding. Reversible binding with platelets. Platelets. There is a T half. Okay, there is a T half. So it goes up to 12 to 24 hours. 12 to 24 hours. So ticagrelor is attached to the platelet. These are suppose receptors P2I12. Ticagrelor is attached to these platelets only for 12 to 12 to 24 hours. I mean, majorly 12 to 24 hours only. And then again, these platelets are free to work. Again, these platelets are free to work. So this can help in other injury related cuts, injury related injuries, or any type of other problems. It can help. This is reversibly binding with platelets. So there is no less number of platelets to function at different targets. Understand? And ticagrelor, they also have improved the bleeding profile. They have also improved the interaction profiles, drug interaction profile, right? So that is how the corrective and preventive measures are being taken, have been taken, right? So these corrective and preventive measures have been taken in the labs, okay? In the labs, in the manufacturing facilities, in the companies, industries, manufacturers place, they have been taken, right? That's why we call them corrective and preventive actions, kappa. They came up with this term before. Okay, the same can be done for drugs and devices. That can be done for drugs and devices. But there is another action, corrective action, that is called FSCA. You have to understand this difference, guys. Field safety corrective action means, example, suppose, for an example, suppose there is the drug. I mean, there is the device. This is not applied for drugs because drugs doesn't need the field safety corrective actions. Drugs, I mean, devices only need. Suppose there is a device. Suppose there is a device called as stunt use. You can just think of stunt, or the PDA closure device. PDA is nothing but patent ductus actosis. This is again the congenital heart disease. So there are the devices for aortic disease, devices for the congenital heart disease, or devices like stents, or anything you can take up. Devices like orthopedic, in the orthopedic accident and all, they keep the different devices, iron rods and all, right? They keep the devices. You keep the you keep, so let's take the very simple example. You keep the specs, right? You keep the specs, your chashma, right? Your glasses, right? If you are taking a glass, if you are taking a glass and this glass is not fitting to your eyes, or if this glass is not working perfectly even with the number, what you will do in the field only, you will correct the x, you will take the action, you will correct the fault, you will correct the problem immediately in the field itself. So that is called as field safety corrective actions. Okay, similarly with the stents or all, if the device fails, or if the device doesn't work, like you kept the pacemaker inside the chest but pacemaker is not on, technical fault, right? Technical fault, but there is a fault, right? That is the fault. So you can immediately remove that, charge that and put that, or you can remove and replace that, right? So these are called at field safety corrected actions, and these actions are only defining the medical devices, right? So after PSURs, I mean, PSURs are not, as it asks you one more question, immediate actions or further actions. So immediate actions can be taken, I mean, then the field safety corrective actions can be taken after these all the reporting CIR, or I mean the reportings, or in the life field also, field safety corrective actions can be taken. Okay, based on all these reports, technical and design dossier will be prepared. Technical and designing dossier means how and what type of things can be changed in the device or drug, and then can be implemented during the manufacturing of next batch, and then you can update the PMS plan and you can go further. Understand that this is the usual plan, this is the usual post marketing surveillance plan. Understand, this is the post marketing surveillance plan. This is not just collecting and reporting the data, this is not just pharmacovigilance. PMS plan means from the first step to last step, from the risk management, risk mitigation, risk assessment, to all the way to update the product. To update the product. Okay. So let me go back here. Let me go back here, right? Let me go back here. The first step in this is collecting the data, then analyzing the data, then taking the actions. Actions means kappa or PMS plan deviation justifications, right? In the analyzing the data, again, vigilance reporting needs is and identified needs of actions and PMS plans deviation justifications. This is everywhere. PMS plan justifications are everywhere in all the steps, right? In the outputs. But if you look at the data, in first step, collecting the data from data resources, collecting the PMS and PMCF or PMPF data from reportings, and then analyze it. Analyze it with the suitable thresholds and indicators, vigilance trend criteria, analyze that, and then look for vigilance reports and identifying the needs of actions. Identifying the needs of actions, then take the actions. Take the actions means kappa or the field corrective actions, right? Field corrective actions. And then again, if the data is is again updated after the actions are taken, data is updated, you can again take the follow-up with all the PMS reports, PSUR reports, all the reports, right? So this is a cycle goes on. This is cycle goes on, right? So the question here is, I have already discussed this, but you can tell me, what is the key component of a periodic safety update report? What is the key component of a periodic safety update report? Yes, guys. Detailed summary of drug manufacturing process, costs, a report on the marketing strategy of the drug, a clinical trial plan of a new drug, or the assessment of a risk benefit profile. So it is simple, risk benefit profile. The answer is B. Okay. The answer is B. Already we have discussed this, right? Already we have discussed this. So this is the, major PMS plan outcomes. Now question here to all of you is, next question is, in context of medical devices, guys, now focus shifts from the drugs surveillance to device surveillance. Okay, drug surveillance to device surveillance. In context of medical device PMS, what document is used to provide information on corrective actions and safety information to users? Clinical evaluation report, FSCA, RMR, or PSUR? Yes. Again, the B, because we just discussed. I mean, through these questions are very, you all know that I've just discussed. This is field safety corrective actions, right? Field safety corrective actions, right? So this is again like post-marketing surveillance program for device is a little different, not much. Okay, like there are two approaches, guys. As I told you, even for the drugs PMS also there are two approaches. Okay, as I was talking about the approaches, there are two approaches. One is proactive approach, one is reactive approach. Proactive approach and reactive approach. Okay, proactive approach and reactive approach. So can someone tell me what is proactive approach and what is reactive approach? Yes. Who can tell me the difference between proactive PMS and reactive PMS? Yes, guys. Tell me the difference of post-marketing surveillance programs. There are two approaches. One is proactive PMS, one is reactive PMS. What is reactive PMS? Proactive long-term monitoring. Okay. Reactive. Guys, don't use Google, guys. Come on, tell me. Okay, let me tell you. Simple. I'll describe it later in all the, there are 3-4 slides on reactive and proactive because these are the approaches you must understand. Reactive PMS is you are taking the info directly from the user. You are collecting the information directly from the users, and proactive is you are collecting the data from studies. Okay, from all type of studies, right? So what are the approaches? First, if it is a reactive PMS, I mean, both you will get the data. You will collect the data, you will investigate the data, you will assess the risk, and then you will prepare the field safety correction actions. Okay, or maybe the corrective actions and performance actions, and then you will improve the product and you will communicate with the regulatory bodies or the customers. You will update with the customers or regulatory bodies. Understand? You will update to the regulatory bodies or customers. This is the simple approach. This is the simple approach. From wherever you take the data, I mean, I'm going to discuss these things in details, but this is just, you have to understand what are the approaches. Okay, medical devices approaches are like that. Okay, now the next question to all of you is very interesting, guys. Very interesting question. So, which of the medical devices is classified as class 2B device in European Union? Condoms, non-invasive thermometers, stethoscopes, or hearing aids? Yes, guys. Which of the following medical devices is classified as class 2B device in the European Union? Yes, D. Okay, perfectly fine. Wow. D. Hearing aids. Okay, hearing aids. Wow. My students are seriously amazing. Okay, so let me tell you guys, you are wrong. How many of you think, guys, let me ask you this question, you are all adult. How many of you thinks that condoms are not medical devices? Yes. Is it right or wrong? Condoms are medical devices or not? Yes or no? Yes, guys. Yes or no? You will learn a lot of new things, okay, from these things, these classes. Medical devices. Yes, condoms are medical devices. Okay. Tell me one more thing. Your glasses, see, I'm wearing this glass. Is it a medical device or not? Is it a medical device or not? Yes or no? It is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Not a problem at all. The watch, the digital watch having the ECG monitoring, having the ECG monitoring, is it the digital watch having the ECG monitoring? Is it the device or not? Medical device or not? Yes, it is. Okay, perfectly fine. So there are a lot of things you would understand what are the medical devices. Okay, what are the medical devices? So let me tell you, there are the four classes. Okay, four classes. Class 1, class 2A. I mean, this is 1. Okay, class 1, 2A, 2B, and 3. Okay, 2B and 3. So this is, as I told you, having the mild risk. This is moderate risk. This is intermediate risk, like almost severe, and this is severe risk. Okay, with that class. You won't believe that condoms are, they belong to 2B, moderate risk, moderate to severe risk, moderate to severe risk, moderate to severe risk. Guys, tell me why. Tell me why condoms has been kept in this category. Being a medical device, chalo theek hai. Why they have been kept in the moderate to severe risk category? Can someone tell me why they are having the severe risk? See, you tell me, you think of whatever you think, whatever you understand, you tell me. Why not non-invasive thermometers? Why stethoscopes and hearing aids? Let me tell you, these all are category 1 devices. Non-invasive thermometers, stethoscopes, hearing aids are category 1 devices. You know that. They are category 1 devices. Or hearing aids can be sometimes, yeah, hearing aids also is category 1 devices. Your earphones are your medical devices. Do you know that? Earphones. Those are not the technical devices or the, any kind of other devices. These are medical devices. Earphones, whatever earphones or, Bluetooth or you use. Okay, Anju Singh is telling due to the allergic reactions considered. Due to the allergic reactions, the latex used should be of medical quality, otherwise they may lead to allergies, and they should be sterile and properly manufactured. Anyone? Critical health implications of failed? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, someone, I don't know the name, here there is don't touch me, but how, I mean, don't you dare to touch me. I don't know what's this name, but that's perfectly fine, perfectly touched that point. Critical health implications of failed. Okay, completely, yeah, Nisa AK. So completely failure chances are there. Okay, first thing we have to discuss that there are high chances. Why they kept in the class 2B is very high chances of failure. Very high chances of failure. Guys, understand this, focus. Very high chances of failure. We are talking very important medical science. Failure. Failure in terms of breakage, leakage, right? Or maybe slippery, right? Slippery, breakage, leakage, slippery, right? And these are the failures. Okay. And what they can lead to, why they have kept in the moderate to severe. If they break, leak, or slipped, what they can do is they can directly expose you to, first thing is pregnancy at any age, at any time. Second is STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, severe allergies. Okay. And the epidemiology of STDs and, the condom failure pregnancies and allergies is not lesser than 10 to 15%. Okay. So that's why they have been kept in the class, very moderate to severe class of the medical devices. Understand? Interesting? Very, very important thing here to understand. Any device failure can lead to the drastic events in your life. Not only this, suppose you have kept one, like, let me tell you this, pacemaker, right? Pacemaker. Pacemaker is already in the severe list because that has to be kept inside your sternum or inside your heart chambers, and I mean, like, the leads will go to the heart chamber. It's inside your skin, right? So that is already in that, but if it fails inside, you will die. Okay, so severe chances of failures of devices. If it's simple device, if it is simple to simple device, if your hearing aid bursts in the failure, I mean, there is a reason. If your hearing aid bursts in the ear, you can lose your ear, right? You can lose your ear. So the failures can lead to the different different things, but hearing aids bursting chances are very less than 0.01%. That's why it is kept in class 1A, I mean class 1, right? But these things you have to understand, what is the chances of failure, what are the chances of problems here. Okay, so the correct answer here is condoms has been classified as class 2B devices in European Union. And now the next question to all of you is, what is the primary factor for classifying a medical device as class 3 under the European Union Medical Device Regulation, MDR? What is the primary factor for classifying a medical device as class 3? Yes, guys, answer. Yes, guys, answer. Yes, answer. B, yes. The device poses a high risk to the patient health and safety. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. Patient device is used in the clinical trial setting, not at all. Device suiting diagnostic procedure, no. Non-invasive, no. So the patient, I mean, the device poses a high risk to the patient's safety and health. Okay. That's why we keep them under the class 3, right? Let's see now. Let's see now here, guys. Medical devices classification. Medical devices classification. So there are, the lower risk, increasing risk to the high risk. Okay, increasing risk to the high risk. So what exactly is, first, self-assessment for the risk can be done. Why class 1 or class A devices, class 1 or class A devices are, that can be, the risk can be assessed by user itself or himself or herself. Okay, first thing is they can assess the risk by themselves. There is no expert or notified body required to assess that risk. Okay, and the risk is very low. There is the very low risk, we can call it mild risk or no risk. Mild risk or no risk. Example, wheelchairs, very, I mean, I think there is no risk, right? Stethoscopes, spectacles like glasses, no risk. So they are kept under class 1 or class A if they are in vitro diagnostic medicals like clinical chemistry analyzers like devices, and then prepare selective culture medias and specimen receptacles. These are in the diagnostic models, these are the low risk devices or solutions, right? If it increases with the risk, class 2A or class B, that is called as class 2A in the medical devices, and diagnostic diagnostic medical devices class B. So examples for class B where the risk is even what we say, risk is intermediate. Okay, risk is intermediate. Class 2 is intermediate, means the moderate. Okay, class 2 is moderate, right? So it is moderate class 1, moderate class 2, right? So class 2A examples are dental fillings, surgical clamps, or tracheotomy tubes. Tracheotomy tubes are and tracheotomy tubes and this dialysis tubes and all are coming under the class 2A. And in diagnostics, pregnancy self-testing kits, urine test strips, cholesterol test strips, diagnostic, these come under the class B or class 2A, right? In diagnostics or medical devices, if we increase risk more, the higher moderate, then examples are condoms, lung ventilators, bone fixing plates, as I told you, bone fixing plates and all, right? And in the diagnostics, examples are blood glucose self monitoring like glucometers. Okay, glucometers failure chances are very high. PSA screening, HLA screening typings. So these are the assays which can be done, and those assays are kept under the class 2B because they have the higher chances of failure. And those chances, those failures can lead to the devastating results or outcomes. Then the high chances, high risk or the severe risk are pacemakers, heart valves, or implanted cerebral stimulators. Okay, implanted cerebral stimulators. In the diagnostics, hepatitis B blood donor screening, HIV blood diagnostic test, and ABO blood grouping. Because blood grouping also can lead to the wrong information. Blood grouping also can lead to the reactions. Okay, the RH factors and all, and HIV blood diagnostic test also can expose the person who is testing or expose the nurse who is collecting the blood or expose the people around. So they are kept under the very high risk. They are kept under the very high risk. So you have to understand these things, why and how they classify the device, how the device, classify the devices into the categories based on the risk, right? So these are the PMS approaches for drugs and devices, as I told you. So there are two, one is proactive, one is reactive. So proactive is a planned, systematic, forward looking activities to monitor the product performance and safety. Planned and systematic means the studies and the reports or the reports prepared by the companies all comes under the proactive post marketing monitoring. Reactive is unplanned event driven monitoring, like the pharmacovigilance reported by users directly, either the hospitals, either the doctors, either the nurses, pharmacist, or the patient. They are directly reported by the user. Unplanned, those are unplanned. Whenever it is happening, it is reported within 12 hours or 24 hours, right? Purpose of proactive is to identify and predict and prevent the potential risk before they become significant. So if everything is planned, they can easily tackle the disaster, right? And reactive, to investigate it, this is not for the prevention. They investigate and address the reported issue or adverse event after they occur. So purpose of proactive is to tackle it in advance, and the objective or purpose of reactive is to tackle them after they occur, right? Approach, preemptive and anticipatory. Here it is reactive and corrective. So once it is reacting, reported, and then immediately corrected. Okay. Timings: initiated immediately after product approval and continues throughout its life cycle. Proactive approach goes throughout the life, like for the long-term follow-ups, short-term follow-ups, and clinical trials, observational studies, registries. Those are all planned and systematic approach goes through the entire life cycle of the drug. Okay, until it is in the market, right? 10-year follow, 15 years follow, 20 years follow, 50 years follow, right? Reactive PMS is triggered by an adverse event, complaint, or regulatory directives. Like these are immediate kind of approaches, right? And then further key activities here in proactive: PSURs, post-marketing clinical follow-ups, registry and observational studies, signal detection and trend analysis. And reactive, in reactive, investigational adverse event reports, addressing the safety alerts and conducting the root cause analysis, implementing the field safety corrective actions. So reactive PMS is FSCA, and the normal proactive PMS is PMCF. Okay, and then data comes from the registries, real world evidence, surveys and focus groups, epidemiological studies, and here spontaneous adverse drug reporting system, like from the MedWatch, UDRA, PVPI, all feedback from the healthcare professionals and users. So this is the spontaneous adverse effect report, adverse event reporting, or the immediate or spontaneous reporting, right? Reactive. And proactive is like they are very much planned. Focus, continuous improvement, and here it is resolving majorly the identification of the risk, right? Output of proactive is insights to optimize the product design, labeling, and usage recommendation. And reactive PMS directly goes with recalls, safety notices, label updates, and like as it is recalls, withdrawal of the drug, right? So reactive goes with the immediate actions. Okay, immediate means not the in 1 hour, 2 hours, or 4 hours. It is like within 1 year or timelines, whatever they are assessed. They've been assessed, and they're being analyzed, and then they will come up with the recommendations, and they immediately do it. Okay. Examples: monitoring the long-term safety of a newly approved diabetes drug via observational studies. And here reactive is investigating unexpected cardiac events linked to the use of heart medication, right? Like if they are taking some drugs for arrhythmia and it causes the heart failure, right? Like that. Advantages: proactive, it is building the trust with regulators and users because these are well planned initially, mitigating the risk before harms occur, right? And in this, they are, analyzing the risk after the harm occurs, right? And in that, again, in advantages of the proactive approaches, these supports evidence-based decision making, right? But reactive PMS, this advantages, these are addressing the safety concerns promptly and providing the real-time feedback to the manufacturers and regulators. Limitations: definitely resource intensive. Okay. And the resources are lot not available, and if they are planning that, they have to spend a lot of money, they have to plan it meticulously, they have to engage multiple stakeholders, sponsors, researchers, teaching hospitals, faculties, everything, right? And then that's how they do it. Okay. And delayed response to the risk is the limitations, because delayed response means it can occur anytime after launch, maybe after 10 years, 5 years, 6 years. So delayed response can be one of the disadvantage of the reactive PMS. So guys, that's all for today. And and then rest I'll take tomorrow in half an hour, and then we can discuss further things. So today it is very important to understand that you have to think of that the PMS, post marketing surveillance, is just not the this is just not the vigilance. This is not just the reporting of ADR. This is the planning of entire this is the planning of entire activities. Entire activities means the launch, after the launch, immediately how to collect the data, how to assess the risk, how to mitigate the risk, how to prepare different reports like PSURs, CER, and how to take the actions, how to tackle that, how to improve that, and how to make the corrective measures either immediately or in the facilities, right? So this is the entire plan. PMS is not a simple thing. PMS is entire plan, right? And that's different for the medical devices, that's different for the drugs, but not that much difference. The process is similar. Okay, approaches are two approaches for both. So this is the summary of today's class, right? Proactive and the prompt approaches, right? So reactive and proactive is for both the drugs and devices. Yes, absolutely. Yes, it is for both. Yes, guys, questions, please. Any questions, guys? Did you understand that? Okay, let me find the form for you. Let me get the form, the attendance form. I hope you are understanding, guys. Guys, before I share the link, let me repeat the instructions and announcement what I made. There is the exam tomorrow from 7 to 7:30. I will take the class from 7:30, sharp 7:30 to 8. There will be the test. Okay. There will be the test, 30 questions, 30 minutes, all MCQs, and you have to pass the exam with 60% marks. Then only you will be eligible to get the certificate. Okay. And the link will not be shared in the groups. Link will be shared only in the class. So you all have to join the class. Okay. Here is the form, guys. Here is the form. Please fill the form. What is the difference in process of drug and devices? See, there is no specific difference. The difference is only that devices are the instruments and the failure can happen anytime. Okay. And there is nothing such as failure in case of drugs. Okay, there is nothing such as failure. Failure for the drug means is withdrawal from the market. But if it comes to the device, there are corrective measures that can be taken in the facilities after withdraw. Maybe it can be withdrawn also, but that can be done in the facilities, or the corrective measures can be taken at the field only. Right? Drugs cannot be replaced once it is taken, but device can be replaced. Right? Device can be replaced. Drugs cannot be charged from outside. Devices can be charged. Device can be changed. Right? So there is a difference in the process of, process and the utilization. Okay. And based on that only, corrective measures has been defined for drugs and devices. Okay. Guys, please fill the form. Here is the form and fill it now. It will be open for next 3 minutes. That's all. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. If no more questions, I hope you understood. Yes, thank you. Tomorrow, I'll take the cost analysis and management of the, management of the entire life cycle. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Where is no link? Here is the link. I have shared twice. Sweta, I think these people have joined late. Just for the attendance, some people, huh? Guys, no, this will not go. Okay, guys. Then thank you very much.